Mars joins Ketu in Leo. Protests against the government. All right, so Mars has just entered into the sign of Leo. Problem is that Ketu is already there. So what happens when you have Mars and Ketu come together? So Ketu is the south node of the moon, and both Rahu and Ketu, what they tend to do is they expand the power of whatever is with them. So Ketu is associated with Mars. So Ketu is said to be like Mars, meaning it has sharp cutting edges, it destroys, the main goal of Ketu is to destroy anything associated with the false matrix of the 3D reality. So when you have Ketu in Leo, that tends to create the scenario where Ketu is trying to destroy corruption, lies, and then when you get Mars coming in there with Ketu, then what ends up happening is that Mars becomes more powerful. So there's a couple of things going on here. One is that Mars is coming out of the sign of Cancer, which is where he is debilitated. So Mars is a fiery planet, is a planet of action, of explosive action, of energy. So what happens when Mars is in Cancer, which is a water sign, then it's like Mars trying to walk through mud. And so it becomes very frustrated. And so Mars walking through mud, and then as it gets to the point where it's going to switch from a water sign to a fire sign, then it starts to get even more angry and frustrated, because it can see that it's about to get out of the water and it wants to accomplish things. It's been held down. All the fire's been put out. So it's moving from a water sign into a fire sign of Leo. So Mars in Leo is very powerful. And so that fire, those two fires build up and explode. Now, normally this isn't going to cause necessarily the kinds of things that we're seeing now. By the way, we're seeing huge protests in the United States and Los Angeles, so much so that the National Guard has been sent out, and pretty intense, exploding cars and things getting, just crazy protests. And at the same time, you have Donald Trump and Elon Musk having this huge fallout. And these guys were the best of friends. And it came out of nowhere, seemingly. And we had Elon Musk, who was accusing Trump of really salacious things, like trying to destroy him. And there were some circumstances we find out that, at least according to Trump, that the bill that Elon Musk hated so much, what ended up happening is that he got his funding taken away from him. So he got all of the governmental funding for his cars, that got taken out. So that infuriated him, and he lost his head. So that's Ketu. Ketu on the right there, he doesn't have a head. So when you have Mars come in and bring in all of this energy and this anger, people start just acting without thinking. They just explode. And so you're seeing that in the protests against the government in the United States. And we're seeing war increasing in other parts of the world. So this is what happens when Mars is in Gandanta. So Gandanta is when a planet is moving from a water sign to a fire, or a fire to a water, in that middle point, like as it's approaching the other sign, or just as it enters the new sign. This is called Gandanta, and it's a very difficult, challenging, explosive time when you're shifting from water to fire like that. So we have this planet of explosive energy, and so you put all these things together. Mars coming into Leo, which is the sign of the elites, the sign of the rulers, the government. When you have Mars moving from a water into a fire sign, it's going to go wanting to get back into his power again, which is the fire. And then Ketu, which is going to basically take his head off. So that's what's happening. People are losing their heads. So I know for a fact I'm bumping into people who are losing their minds. People who are flipping out. And if you're watching this and you are flipping out, you know who you are. People are, I've had people doing really weird things towards me. People whom I've known for a very long time. I thought I was over that. People who I knew for a very long time who, as far as I knew, loved me and thought I was the best thing in the world, and the next thing I know, they're exploding all over me in negative ways. So this is what's happening, and it has everything to do with the ascension. Listen, guys, ascension, unfortunately, is not a smooth transition. It is a challenging, difficult transition. Now, if you are following a spiritual path, if you're really committed to a spiritual path, it's going to be easier. Now, when I say spiritual path, it doesn't mean that you're into spiritual things. That's not what I mean by that. When I'm talking about a spiritual path is that you are working towards awakening and expanding into your higher dimensional self. And that means that you take actions that are constructive for you and for others, no matter how frightening, no matter how painful, no matter how difficult. That is a spiritual path. Not going to church, not going to New Age conferences, not going and, watching your favorite channel or all that nonsense. The spiritual nonsense. Even if it's not nonsense, stepping into a church or going into a meditation circle doesn't automatically cleanse you of your own internal issues. So we have to be willing. Listen, I'm going to give you the most important advice anybody can give anybody. The only thing that matters in this life is, are you taking actions toward your spiritual expansion, no matter how painful, no matter how difficult, no matter how frightening? You take actions that everything inside of you, all of your impulses. By impulses, I mean your defense mechanisms, your survival mechanisms. The impulse that says, don't jump off that cliff. It's an overwhelming feeling within you. So when you are able to tolerate these feelings and you have the consciousness to know, I need to take that action. I need to quit that job. I need to get out of that relationship, or I need to not run away from this relationship. I need to be willing to sacrifice for knowledge. I need to be, working with light beings is a challenging thing. If you work with light beings, they're going to tell you amazing, beautiful things about you, but it's going to be such a challenging thing to hear oftentimes when it comes to your own third dimensional identity. It will feel like it's killing you. You have to keep going no matter what. You have to keep pushing. So we're in this state now where we are making the shift. The shift is here. It is happening. People are shifting from a lower frequency to a higher frequency. And it doesn't matter who you are, and it doesn't matter how much progress you've made up until this point. It is a daily grind. If you have been expanding, and if you have been risking, and if you have been taking actions towards your spiritual expansion, and one day you just decide that it's too frightening and you go the other direction, it's like climbing up a sandhill, 2 steps up, 4 steps back, right? So this is the time not to lose your head. This is the time, if you're quitting some kind of chemical, stop doing the chemicals. This is the wrong time to be partying, because the THC or the alcohol or whatever it is, that the kratom, whatever it is that you're doing, is gonna right now make you act impulsively. You're gonna lose your head. You're gonna lose your mind. If you're doing the spiritual practices, you're gonna feel like you might be losing your mind. And you are. You're losing your third dimensional mind. I mean, I deleted a comment yesterday. Somebody was basically saying, I've been watching your channel for a long time and I think you've lost your mind. I think you've gone crazy. And this was because I was talking about, I'm giving you the history of the universe according to what light beings have shown me and my part in that. And in higher dimensions, we are much bigger than we are here. And if you're afraid of your own expansion into your higher dimensionality, somebody else who's expanding is going to look crazy to you. And you're going to be frightened by them and threatened by them. You're going to want to attack them. So that's what's happening. This is a challenging time to be growing. But the good news is everything is about to shift. It's going to go into high gear. So yes, right now Mars and Ketu are teaming up and a lot of crazy things are happening. But Mars is going to eventually calm down a little bit and going to find his stride. And this means that there's going to be a lot of activity in things like government. And we're going to see Mars and Ketu, I believe, working together. And then we're going to see, as I've said before, between now and December of 26, we're going to see Ketu really start doing his job. He's going to reveal all of the secrets. He's going to reveal all of the corruption. So now is the time. If you've been waiting to take action on your spiritual path, now is the time. So by the way, anybody who wants, you can go to astrology.thunderwizard.com, and I do Vedic astrology readings, and we can take a look and see what's affecting you, and I can do things like give you mantras and other things to do that'll help you through this challenging time. And if you're wanting to connect directly with the beings that Ketu channels, so Ketu is a channel. And the reason why Ketu anywhere destroys the third dimension is because Ketu channels the primordial conscious beings, the creators of reality, the creators of consciousness. We would call them light beings. Ketu channels these beings. If you would like to have a direct connection with this, I offer a service, which I'm sure you're aware of, where I channel interdimensional light beings. And you can go to channel.thunderwizard.com right here, and you can get a half price, which means that I will record it and upload it to the channel, or you can pay full price and you can keep it. You can record it for yourself and keep it private. I've got something else which I'm working on here, which is Galactic Contact. And that's a video course, and I go into depth talking about not only how to contact higher dimensional beings, but how to work with them, how to communicate with them and have a deeper experience. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and go there to contact.thunderwizard.com. And we also have this going on, the Mao Shan Spirit Fighting Kung Fu forms. So that is half off for one more day. Then the price is going to start going back up again. So If you're interested in that, go to maoshan.thunderwizard.com. All right, keep your head on. Stay sane. Don't take that stupid action. And again, if you've been waiting for a time to get off the weed, get off the alcohol, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever addictive, destructive thing that you're doing, now's the time to do that, because things are going to get worse from here on out for those who are not following a spiritual path. The good news is that you can turn around and go in the right direction at any point in time. It's never too late. That's it. I wish you guys all the best. Be very good to yourselves. Oh.